Imperial College this morning said on Bloomberg News that they thought China's phased recovery was working, and the reason for that is that it's coordinated depending on the severity of the case. So bans are being lifted in cities that seem to be doing well, and more restrained in places that still not. So Wuhan, for example, is not lifting its ban until mid-April in terms of transport getting out, whereas places like Beijing are very comparatively quickly getting back to normal life. There's predicted to be a traffic jam from today onwards. The tube is restarting. The underground is releasing 4 lines, I think, but again, only some of the stations will be open and only some trains will be running. The central heating is going to be switched off. It's been vital in the last couple of months. It came on, for example, in Beijing. It's central, so really central, depending on the city you live in. It all comes on at the same time. In Beijing, it's been on since November the 14th. It's to be turned off on April the 14th. That shows, one, it's getting warmer, two, that people need to get moving, things going back to reality. And that's a big event in China because it's nationwide. Over the weekend, there's a lot of response to the UK cabinet getting coronavirus front page. The response has been one of fear, really, about what's going on in the UK, because you can imagine if that had happened to a country with one party rule, the absolute panic that would cause. So Chinese people are looking at it from that kind of view. When your authority, the people that rule the country, whether it's an emperor, whether it's the president of the ruling party, it's a huge sign of something really going wrong. And I think that's why the panic has been worse in China over the UK government catching it than it probably has been here. The main sort of medical advisor to the Chinese government has actually said that people should stay put and restrict their activities until at least June. So that is quite a bad sign for the UK. I know that on the announcement yesterday, they said June as the earliest. If China's not going to be out of it by then, I think we're looking much further beyond that. One of the main medical advisors, Zhang Wenhong, has made some explanations from a social point of view. He's come out and said that young people in the West, including America, are very sociable compared to China, where transmissions mostly happened within families, whereas in the West it's among young people in social groups, and how that is a real big worry point. That's different culturally. What's more, Chinese social media is absolutely blowing up with vlogs from abroad, a lot of which comes from Chinese students, and they're very professional looking, a lot of them. So a lot of them are showing the panic that's going in supermarkets, the mountains of people who are not wearing masks. That's a real cutting point for a lot of Chinese people, the absolute disbelief that people are going around without protection. And again, they're kind of proven right when more than 3 members of your cabinet have got it and have disappeared off telly for a couple of days now, whereas Boris Johnson and Matt Hancock. And there was a video which I'll post showing that in Chinese supermarkets in New York, they're fully kitted up. And the vlogger goes, this is not the case, in Western supermarkets. So there's definitely a kind of we versus you going on here. And also reports over the weekend of Chinese students. Again, the UK is the biggest port letting out infections into China, is the biggest contributor to the imported cases. And students are going on the plane fully kitted out in anti-coronavirus bodysuits, not eating, not sleeping, not doing anything when they're on there, just so that they're aware of their surroundings and not getting the virus. There's also on social media Westerners. There's one guy in San Francisco with over 1 million followers who's come out every day. He speaks good Chinese, so people love him, and he's saying very patriotic things like, with dramatic music, China is doing the best right now. China's where I want to be, but I can't be there because they've sealed the border. But also, I don't want to create more problems for China and burden their system. So I'm not going to go back. I'm going to be in San Francisco and be responsible. So, it's all very, very contrived and clearly, trying to speak in a certain way, but he is gaining a lot of traction.